Nigerians studying abroad should return to rebuild Nigeria. Official. Titilayo Solarin, a permanent secretary of the Lagos Education District 1, has called on Nigerians studying abroad to return home to build their country. To rebuild, actually. Ms. Solarin made the call at a one-day conference on Thursday. Ms. Solarin, represented by a director in the district, Oluwatoyin Adeleke, said Nigerian students privileged to study abroad must give back to Nigeria. The best still for all Nigerians studying abroad is to come and give back to their own country. After studying abroad, we need to develop our own country. Those countries over there, if they were not developed, no one would desire to go over there to study. We should get to the point where we as citizens of Nigeria should learn how to take good care of our own country and build it up so that our country will be one we will be proud of. Who will build our own country if our children remain over there? Who will take care of Nigeria if our children remain over there? On strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, the educationists prayed that God would touch the heart of President Muhammadu's regime to resolve the impasse for students to return to school. Now this is the problem. This is the problem. I don't think what she's saying is wrong. When you say it's a must, again, you can't. You should really try to convince, because really the reason as to why they're there in the first place is because there were no options here. And then going abroad is a very big investment. So when you say it is a must, you need to tread carefully. Secondly, in your position, what are you doing? How are you fighting for the Lagos Education District? How do you fight for more funding? Not private, public schools. Because, again, with private schools, they're literally seen as businesses. They're getting taxed. I mean, they are functioning businesses, fine. But then you have public schools. What are you doing to fight for more funding? You're saying that the person you're working for, you're praying to God to touch his heart. That is your prerogative, and that is personal. But that is not why you were put in that position. The people that you're serving don't want to hear that. If you want to ask God to touch his heart, do that in your quiet time. Do that at home. It's like going to your employer. I mean, you're literally talking to those that have employed you, and you're telling them that what you're trying to do is pray. It is a very, very big problem. And, you're questioning, and I think be a bit humble. Again, you don't just ask people to come back. Why they left was because it wasn't worth investing in. So you travel abroad, again, to rebuild the country. Now, not to sound selfish, but you're talking about rate of investment, right? You're going to invest in a country that you're probably not going to see the results anytime soon. I am not saying the work is not needed to be done, but what I'm saying is you shouldn't guilt trip students that are abroad. Why don't guilt trip them and say, oh, who's going to build the country if you're not here? At the end of the day, the culture that has been built over the last 20, 30 years into Nigerians is not to take care of their country. So we really have to start changing that mindset, because the culture that we breed for ourselves and that we choose to promote and adopt in is literally what has been built. So we need to change that culture. But in terms of also, let's add more perspective to it, you're telling them to come back to a country where really a lot of work has to do with the organization and the government and leadership. I'm not saying it is everything, but to a very large extent as to where the country is right now. If you want them to come back, if you want these students to come back to a country where, if they're having businesses, if they can't. Why should they? If they're coming to be entrepreneurs, what are the regulations that are in place? Look at infrastructure, the roads, logistics. These are fundamental infrastructural problems that will not yield. Again, it's like you're working backwards. So your hard work is basically inefficient to a certain degree, and then you start to reap your rewards. But you're telling them to come back to a country where the regime you're under, you are praying to God to touch his heart for a change. Are you serious? We just need to be very humble. And I think you are in a very, she's in a very important role. What have you done to fight for more funding? Prayers, fantastic, great. But we don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear it. You're the first to pray, and you're the last to pray. Again, if you're not taking any action and the schools that you're in charge of, you are not certain that the quality of education is enough that even they themselves can, you're not even depending on your span of control to make that change. Then what is the essence of your job? You're depending on skill and labor that has been trained, and the work has been done by others, and you want to reap that reward. It's not going to work. So there are fundamental issues with your government, and that needs to change. So we just need to be very humble, because you don't guilt trip people to come back. You think they don't want to come back. And another perspective is, for example, El Rufai's son, he studied abroad. Now it's a different thing, and I think it's a different fight for students, abroad, because if they choose to come back, what now happens is you have politicians' children who are abroad who will come back and continue the government that their fathers have left for them. So what are we saying? What are we saying? And not to mention names, you already know who these people are. So now you're asking these people to come back and fight. Because again, the fight that, these students are going to go through is not going to be against Buhari's age mates. It's not. It really isn't. And even Peter Obi was talking, with the allegation that his son was part of Biafra and was stepping on a Nigerian flag, and this person really happened to be in Germany and turned out not to be his son. He also mentioned that, his son says he wants to come back. My friends and I want to come back. You think they don't want to come back? You think, again, when a place is not meant for you, it really isn't. You can't, yes, everything works, but everything works for Nigerians abroad based on functionality and survival, not necessarily a belonging or a satisfaction that you're really there. Because really, it's never your land. It's not going to be your land. You will never adapt. It's not yours. And at the end of the day, them working abroad means that they're going to pay taxes, and they're continuously investing and pouring into a land that is not theirs. So trust students abroad do want to come back. But then if you are in the educational sector and you are praying to God to make the change and you're not doing anything, you really need to be removed from your position. And again, if you want Nigerians abroad, students abroad, to come back and work with people like you, you are part of the problem. It's as simple as that. So it is what it is. Put what you think about it in the comment section below, and do not forget to like and subscribe.